we have to do rock, paper, scissors. We can just do rock, paper, scissors live.
All right,
Yeah, we
we're
can.
live. We are not late. We are on time.
Allegedly.
Mitch has important questions. Jake, Kyle, do you fear that Evie will find a complete and utter lack of decency, tact, and morality within your picks?
Oh, this is a very
Always.
easy question. Absolutely. I had nightmares about it last night, and that's why I'm tired.
Maybe. The real question is maybe Jake picked a book for me like this for his picks that we'll find out later today.
I don't care if Kyle thinks I'm evil, though, so.
Um,
Kyle's going to be like, I actually can't go to Dragonsteel because I'm scared to be in proximity to Jake because I think he might be a murderer.
Well, he has like bionic, not real legs, and there's like
Yeah.
a pulley system. It's really scary.
Before I forget, everyone that's in chat, make sure you tune in to Kyle's channel pretty much right after this at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Literally right after this.
Eastern. For the TBR results thing that they are doing.
Find out what Jake and Ben did to make me happy or to piss me off.
I want to know so much.
So
I don't even get to know if I'm enemies with Kyle.
Yeah. This is your guys' personality now, I feel like. Is traveling across BookTube and choosing books for people.
Okay.
And
I was saying before Kyle
competition.
I was saying before Kyle got here, it's getting progressively harder. Like each one has been more difficult than the previous one.
Yeah, I agree.
Sarah was like the easiest ever because I had so many things to choose from that I'm like, yeah, Sarah.
We also partnered with that one. Like since then, we've kind of been like strateging against each other.
Ben wanted it to be a competition.
Yeah. So, but with Sarah, we were on the same team.
But yeah, like Sarah was super easy. It was like I could have. The hard part was picking which. Then Ben, there was a lot I wanted to pick, but it was like Ben is. It's always the risk factor because he could randomly say it's the worst book of all time. And you're just like, where did that come from? Okay. And then the struggle with you is you've read everything already.
Except the 6 authors that you guys chose for me.
Yeah. But like you see some niche picks for you because like 2 of the 3 books I picked for you, like I didn't give 5 stars on Goodreads as an example.
And then
Evie
hard.
is also because she also might just hate it. Like I just don't know whether she'll like if you went before and were like, okay, listen, she's going to love one of these 2 books and hate the other. Sailing to Sarantium and The Black Company. I'd be like, that's the easiest question of all time. And it's like, nope, DNF.
I don't know. I still don't think she hates Sailing to Sarantium.
If she were to DNF
I know
one
mean.
and the other becomes an all-time favorite, I would have got that back. So for Evie, I just don't.
Yeah, Evie, I have 5 choices for you. And like, I'm reasonably confident you would like all 5, but it's also equally likely that just like a random like writing thing in each of the 5 is just like you're just like I'm done.
So be like, no.
You could hate it all. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm wondering if either of you will pick GGK after because it's A Brightness Long Ago was one of my favorite books of last year. So
Sailing to Sarantium will be one of your favorite books of 2026. So.
Or maybe even 2025. So, anywho, Kev also has important questions. When is it my turn to get?
Whenever you want. Kev.
Whenever you want. I'm game.
Gonna give you Throne of Glass.
I think he's read Throne of Glass.
Damn. I'll give you Divergent.
Okay, so we have to do rock, paper, scissors to decide who goes first, right?
Yes, and this is not a competition. I'm like, there's gonna be no points. There's no like extra point for a new author.
But we'll know it's a competition.
Yeah. So
you don't have to score it. We'll score it. It's all good.
Okay. So rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
go on.
Wait. Okay, let's restart. What do we go on?
It's rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Go on, shoot.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot. Okay, you cheated and still lost. That's funny.
Yeah, I didn't even try to cheat. I was just delayed. I just was confused. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick as my first one, "Memory and Dream" by Charles DeLint.
That's the one that I wanted to pick. Yeah, I was pretty sure. I was pretty sure.
Which I read this year. and is in Book of the Year talks. Like saying, is Fifth Path here? Where he at? Where he at? He's not here. This man has been more persistent in recommending me this author than I've ever seen anyone. Like, might be more persistent than my cat, and my cat's ridiculously persistent. And I was like, it's always awkward when you're reading a book based on like one person's recommendation. Because if you hate it, it feels like kind of personal. Then you feel bad. It's not actually, like, it's not personal. If I ever recommend someone a book and they don't like it, like, it's fine. I don't care. Anyway, and then I read page 1 and I was like, oh, this is going to be really good. And then it was.
I also think Memory and Dream is fantastic, and I also think there's a good chance of you liking it.
So do you want to give me a premise, or do you want me to go in blind?
I think it's fun to go in blind.
Okay.
There's memories and dreams.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the people do know they're in a book called Memory and Dream, I think. I can tell you the premise of page 1, I guess. Page 1 is someone gets in the mail a letter from their friend who died like 5 years ago, and the letter had just been stuck in the system for like 5 years, and it arrives, and that's page 1.
I read this as friendship with the laser will be compromised, and I was very confused.
We get to be friends with lasers.
Lasers. All right, cool, awesome.
I'm upset that you picked that one because that was the one that I really wanted.
That's why I wanted to go first.
Confident. Yeah, I'm like the most confident.
Hey, Ben's here, so Ben, we'll just go straight into your stream when this is done.
Indeed.
We can't hear you. Oh, yeah, we can't hear him when he puts his mic up.
Yeah,
but it's fine.
We have 4 choices left here.
Yep. Gary's read Little Country by Charles Dillon years ago, and it's lingered as a beautiful magical. Jesus, I cannot read. Magical realism portal, atmospheric spooky. Ooh, interesting. Okay.
That was
you not being able to read bodes well for me because Memory and Dream is a long book.
It's not. What?
Isn't it like 650 pages?
No,
it's like longer than I think that's longer than any of the other books I chose.
It's like quite short. It's 450. It's normal. It's 450 pages with like
that's not bad. I feel like it was a 19-hour audiobook, which is like leaning towards the longer.
Felt short.
He's a more modern author, right?
He's like alive still. This book was published, I think, in the 90s.
Oh,
he's published a lot of books. This was the first Lynn book I read.
Amount.
And normally, like when I read a book and I love it, like I go to the author on Goodreads and I just spam wanting to read. And I see the published works and it's like 85. And I'm like, okay, never mind. We'll pick some for now.
What do you think your next read from him is going to be?
I think Dreams Underfoot. I'm going to do all the Newford books until either I'm done them or I just feel like changing things up. Right. And Dreams Underfoot, I think, is a short story collection.
So just so Evie's aware, like without telling her anything about Memory and Dream, he writes kind of like standalone stories set in a fictional town. So it's like each of the books might have recurring characters or something. Like I don't think Jake and I really know because we haven't read past the first one. But it's not like it's the first book in a series. But it will say like on Goodreads like Newford number 2 or something like that.
So he basically made up a city called Newford that's in a like you can just basically decide wherever you want it to be vaguely in North America.
So he probably highly influenced by William Faulkner in that regard.
No idea.
Isn't it Faulkner that created his own like fiction? Whatever. Anyway.
I don't know. I don't think Faulkner was the first person to do that either.
No, I know.
Anyway, that's my pick. Kyle, what do you got?
You're making me sad. But I have to bring out the heavy hitters because Evie doesn't like being happy. And so when I think about books that didn't make me happy, but that are excellent books, there's really only one obvious choice. And I did check your Goodreads, and I was actually just surprised you hadn't read this. Like, I almost didn't put this on the list because I was like, clearly you have read this. And then I looked, and it wasn't on there. So correct me if I'm wrong, but my first pick is Kindred by Octavia Butler.
Why is it not on there? I have read it.
Oh, you have read it. Okay, damn it. That's what I thought. I was confused as to you not having read it. And do you like it?
Oh, I love it.
So that would have been a good choice.
It's the best book. It's one of the best books that I will never read again because it's
okay. So it's extremely sad. Yeah, it's like upsetting in all ways. But okay, Well, I'm glad I was on the right
There you
track,
go, Kyle.
even
We
if
get a
I was.
bonus point for that. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I didn't want to just do this early, but unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to. I'm choosing Under Heaven by Guy Gabriel Kay.
All right. That was a guaranteed one since you knew that that was going to be my next GGK that I was going to try anyways.
I, in a wild curveball, was not planning on picking a GGK book.
This was okay. So in my list of 5, Under Heaven was going to be the 5th choice. It was like a wild card. But then you pulled out the one that I'm really sure she's going to like, and then the other one I was really sure she was going to like. She's read. So then I'm like, of the other 2, I'm like, I'm a little bit scarier. So I gotta go with Guy Gabriel Kay. Also, Ben said Evie and Jake have both taken 2 of my picks. That just means that I picked well. That's all that means. I consider this a win and also a loss. So, but yeah, so Under Heaven starts with a guy who is he's on leave because his father has died, and he gets a year off from the Empire. He's like a clerical servant, like he works in the government somewhere, and he gets a year off, and he spends that year going out to this battlefield where the ghosts of the bodies have been haunting the battlefield, so nobody goes on the battlefield to bury the dead. So he's just spending the whole year going out there and burying the dead all year. And then because of that, both sides of the conflict end up really respecting him, and they will help him with things. So like while he's out, they will like go out and like clean his cabin or like give him food or something, because anytime he's spending not burying people is less time that he has to bury people. And so when his year of bereavement is up, one of the people gifts him a bunch of horses, and the book is about
how many horses, Kyle?
Anywhere from 3 to 800.
Isn't it 250?
Oh, maybe, I don't know. It's a lot of horses. We said
more than 1 and less than 1,000.
Initially, I said 800, and then Jake was like, "Huh."
I was like, "Wait, isn't it 500?" But I got it wrong, and then he corrected my correction, and now I'm reminding him of his correction of my correction.
Yeah, it's a good book. I think you'll really like it, and I think it is a good curveball out of because you really liked Brightness long ago, but you DNF Sailing to Sarantium, and so I think this is a good third step in Guy Gabriel Kay to see what your evolving opinion is on GGK.
Hopefully, Sailing to Sarantium was just a fluke. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We believe.
Okay, I don't think Jake has either of my other 2 picks on his. So go wild.
The next
wild,
2
Jake.
I didn't pick first because I'm like, Kyle's not going to pick those. One, if you pick, so I'll say both the ones I considered, because why not? The one I considered but am not picking is Shaman's Crossing. If he'd picked first and taken Memory of Dream, this would have been my second pick. But given that this isn't a competition and I want to get you into new authors that I like, we're gonna keep the train rolling, and we are going to pick a risky one, which is Too Like the Lightning by Adam Palmer again.
How dare you pick that? Because I can't talk about this book
I know,
at all.
It's great. It's wonderful. It's a hidden win now. Is Kyle can't say whether he thinks it's a good or a bad pick because he doesn't want to give away whether he liked it or not. So frankly,
tune in about 45 minutes and you'll find out.
And if you're watching Evie, he can be like either, and I think you'll like this Evie and it's a good pick, or I think you'll hate this Evie and Jake's an idiot. So Too Like the Lightning, it's got a couple I know based on certain people named you're reading of certain people named Simon Jimenez that I figure if it's a very impressively constructed one, even if you're like that's kind of annoying, you'll at least appreciate it. As you go later in the series, there's some Iliad references, which there's a good history with you and Iliad based things. Like I think Grace of Kings, the writing, a lot of it was inspired by the Iliad. So I was like, that's a vibe that works for Evie.
Someone did mention they read, I think it was on Angela's Discord. They're like, or maybe it was Laura's Discord. I don't know. Someone's Discord that you're not a part of, I don't think. And they're like, oh, I just read Too Like the Lightning. It's very the Iliad. I'm like, excuse me? Jake has not sold this based on the Iliad.
Well, I knew I was going to pick a fear. But yeah, there's more and more Iliad stuff as you go throughout the books for reasons that you'll see. And it's actually a really creative way of incorporating Iliad stuff. Yeah.
Is this a Dandelion Dynasty situation where either is it a Grace of Keen situation where it stands on its own as the first book, or will I?
It does
not stand on its own.
No. So it's kind of split into. It's kind of like books 1 and 2 are pretty similar to each other. Like the first 2 books kind of stand on their own ish asterisk. And then the next 2 are kind of doing a different thing. But the first 2 books are like an in-world history of a guy named Mycroft who's totally sane and reasonable and normal and not over the top unhinged. Right, Kyle? And he's saying like the history of like these 7 days that are really important historically for reasons that you'll find out when you read them. And his perspective of what happened. And he's crazy and it's fun, but also he can be a bit, the risk of Too Like Lightning is he can be a bit much. Mycroft he's something. Anyway, I feel like it's hard to know whether you'll like it, but that when the elements into like the lightning, like if you take all the little things that make it weird, I think a bunch of the stuff tends to be things you're okay with. Like unhinged narrator, you're cool with that. Random Iliad references, you're very cool with that. I think some other random references, you're cool with that. Non-linear and frame narratives, you're cool with that. Crazy sci-fi world, I don't know, you like Dune. We'll be fine, maybe. Anyway, so that's the hope. This one could backfire. They both could backfire. I don't know what's going on with you. This all could backfire. You could hate everything. And we could become enemies.
Twist. This is my exercise in masochism or sadism. Yeah. What's the one that's I
think masochism.
Yeah.
Sadism is hurting other people.
So it's sadism.
Masochism is hurting yourself.
Well, maybe it's both. Yeah. Maybe. She wants to hurt both of us and herself.
Yeah, that's true. Just a self-destruct.
She's she's a masochist who wants to take everyone with her.
I'm just gonna call her Voltorb from now on.
I don't understand that reference, but okay.
I know, but other people will. Voltorb is a Pokemon that self-destructs.
Got it. Okay.
Do you have Pokemon on your mind something? Because your thumbnail for the one you have also has Pokemon on it.
I always have Pokemon on the mind, Jake.
Okay. Anyway, what's your second?
It's an all-time classic. Okay.
What's your second pick, Kyle?
I have 2 picks, and the thing is I don't know what to pick. There's one that I'm more okay. So here's my dilemma, real quick. There's one that I more likely think she will like, but I don't like it as much, and I have less of a chance that I think it's going to be an all-time favorite. Whereas the one that I do want to choose is one of my favorite books, but it's like I think it's gonna be more polarizing. Either it's gonna be like a really
I went with the risky pick, and it's not a competition. So if you don't take the risky one, I will call you a coward.
Okay. So I was leaning towards the risky one anyway, but there's also a better chance that she has read this one and it just isn't logged. So my pick is The Book Thief by Marcus Zukas.
I have not read that.
Okay. The bonus to that is that The Book Thief is also like an incredibly popular book. So like if you have read it, whether you like it or not, you get to talk about it, which is always fun when you read something that a lot of people have read. But
look at that. He's helping your channel, Evie. You can make a clickbaity Book Thief review.
Well, I mean, does it count that I already know the twist?
I don't think there's a twist. What do you think? Can you type it in the private chat?
Yeah.
We'll actually just message it to Kyle because I somehow haven't read it, even though it was my sister's favorite book growing up. I'm just going to click want to read right now because it's been the list for a long time.
All right, talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to mute myself so you don't hear me clacking on my keyboard.
I just clack on my keyboard and let people hear me.
Clackety, clickety, clack. Yeah, you do. I just imagine you being like clack, 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 clack. But you're like obviously like normal.
What can I say? I just type kind of fast. 1v1 me type racer, Kyle.
That is not the twist. That is evident on page 1 right away. I'm just going to say it out loud. Death is the narrator. It's literally from like the beginning of the it's like it's basically like hi, I'm Death. I'll be narrating things today, but not
the way that people talked about it. They're like, oh, it's this big mysterious thing.
That's incredibly insane. Like those people should reread the first page. I like at absolute max. It's like the second page you learn that it's, but I think it's the first page. Like it's very clearly death.
If
He's like,
it's
"Hi,
the
I'm
third
death."
page, I'm gonna be.
It won't even be. It will not be the third page. Yeah. So that's actually one of the reasons that I think you will like it, because I know that you like Discworld, and everybody that likes Discworld likes death.
And I
I've
love
not read
Death Incarnate anyways, or death related.
There you go.
Anyways,
and I also think that the Book Thief is incredibly sad. Like there's been a lot of books that have made me cry over time, but I think the Book Thief has maybe made me cry the hardest, in the sense that while I was reading the book, I like wanted to really cry, like have like a full cry, but I was like, you got to finish what you're doing. So I got to the end of the part that I was at, and then I closed the book, and then I just had like a full body cry. Like I was like fully crying, like not tearing up. And I was very, very sad. So then I reread it last year as a read along for Sarah's Discord. And I thought maybe like the second time, I have a hard heart now, and I didn't. It still made me cry. And I think it's very, very good. So hopefully you like it.
I want to know, what was the one you almost picked?
Yes, I was just going to say. So the one I almost picked is The Forgotten Beasts of Eld by Patricia McKinley or McFlip. There's two of them. McKillop. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. Which I also think is a book you would really like. I think you would really like the prose. I just don't like it as much as the Book Thief. So like if you liked it a lot, it just wouldn't make me as happy as if you liked the Book Thief a lot.
I'll put that as like an honorable mention, just so that it's on my radar.
Sure.
Honorable mention, Shaman's Crossing by Robin Hobb. The downside of that book is that nothing happens for 300 pages. But it's the middle 300 pages. So that helps.
Assassin's Quest. I love Assassin's Quest, so I'm okay with stuff.
Yeah.
So fun fact, I already own one of each of your picks. So yay.
Do you two like the Lightning?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you own Under Heaven?
Yes.
Okay. You can find the Book Thief literally anywhere. Like I'm sure if you just walk outside and like knock on your neighbor's door and you're just like, hey, do you have like a spare copy of the Book Thief? They'd be like, yeah, I do.
I have 12.
Yeah, Derry, I was going to say, and Evie won't get this reference, but I can't think of a book that works for Evie. I was going to be like, Shaman's Crossing is to Assassin's Quest as Assassin's Quest is to like changes. Like
that is not a good selling point.
Yeah, I know. It's a complete mess of a novel. I only like it because Robin Hobb wrote it and she's better than everyone else and can get away with this. If anyone else wrote it, like it'd be like a 2-star. Like it's a disaster.
Is it technically considered middle grade? Sorry, going back to Book Thief because the comments or whatever. Is it technically considered middle grade, or is it like
I don't know. Like I think a lot of people read it around that time. I don't know if it's intentionally written as anything. Like it doesn't feel inherently adult to me, but I do think like because Death is the narrator, I think that Death adds a little bit of depth that maybe a kid won't pick up on, but also it's written in like the way that it's written seems to also appeal to younger people. So I feel like it, yes and no. I don't know.
Got it.
I feel like it's way too sad to be middle grade, honestly. It's like my heart tells me it's way too sad to burden a child with that. Yes, I agree with Kev.
Or traumatize them.
Yes.
People, it's fine.
Really into it. Yeah, I don't know how I haven't read that. This was my sister's favorite book of all time growing up. And I don't know why I haven't read it. Whatever.
You missed everything,
well,
Ian. I'm so sorry.
You should, Jake, because it's very good.
Well, you can eventually all do this and you can pick it for me.
Yeah, it's almost your time.
Probably be start of next year.
Yeah, that's fine. I figured it would
be. I want to, for the end of this year, I kind of know what books I want to do.
Yeah.
And I want to, like, I've got a bunch of short books I've been pushing off and I want to just, like, go through them all. And that way I can justify reading Wind and Truth in one more really long book. And that one more really long book is hopefully Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
I also want to read that. Maybe I'll buddy read that with you, depending on the timing. Because I've been putting that book off for years, and I really want to read it. Can you recap for Ian?
Yes. So, my handy dandy little notebook, like I'm Steve from Blue's Clues. Kyle has picked Under Heaven by GGK and The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. And Jake has picked Memory and Dream by Charles DeLint. Is it Charles or Charles? Like
Charles? I don't know. My guess is as good as yours, but I think it's Charles.
Okay, cool. And Two Like the Lightning by Ada Palmer. So, shut up, Kevin. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell is great. Okay.
Don't worry, I have a running policy to not listen to Kev. So if you ever see Kev instructing me to not do something and you think I should ignore that, that's already my default response.
I'm sorry. I would just like to respond to Ian. Of those 4 books, have you read those 4 books, Ian? And if so, which ones of them do you like? Let's try this, Mr. I have whack taste.
Well, Ian is good. Ian, you can go watch his stream and we can go see what he thought of I Know This Much Is True. And if he doesn't like it, we can yell at him and you can yell at him.
Again.
Because I picked that first.
Shameless plug. In approximately 30 to 45 minutes, go to Kyle's channel to see what happens. But as a kind of segue, yeah, November. I guess I'm signing you up to pick Kevin's TBR or books to read.
Oh, is that I missed that? Yeah, sure, we can do that, Kev. I think you're easier than Evie, but you're harder than Ben. I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, he likes Stephen King, so there's always that added bonus.
I don't really know what to pick for Kev.
Yeah, I have to think about it. I'll have to look through the list.
All right, time frame wise on me getting these books read, none, because it's not a competition. No, I'm kidding. I will aim to have them finished by the end of the year.
I think that's fair.
And I will keep you all updated. So
we have an overrated Has Been Spotted. We have to move on before I start.
I gave Ben a lot of shit for taking forever, but that's because he's Ben and not Evie. So like you can take as long as you want, Evie, because I would rather you actually like the books as opposed to forcing yourself to read them. And Ben, like, he should have forced himself to read them anyway because he's all about immersion. I'm like, if you're forcing yourself to read it, that's immersion. So
see, he's just more scared of Evie. So that's why he doesn't want to pressure. He's like, I actually do want you to read it fast, Bill. You just scare me a little bit. So just do it. Just take it down.
Well, to be fair, Kyle, I do have to read 11/22/63 before I even start any of these books. So
that is acceptable to me.
You know.
What are you reading that like for? Like, is it for a person, or are you buddy reading it, or what?
It's part of that like Joanna, Josh, and Matt picked a book for me to read, and that was Joanna's pick for me to read.
Oh yes. So.
And we
then
were
I have to read The Gypsy by Stephen Bruce and Megan Lindholm. I read Boy's Life for Matt, and I loved that.
Oh,
book.
Boy's Life is so good. I want to reread Boy's Life.
It's happening very soon. Got the nice editions. Suntap Press. Shout out to one of the best presses for fantasy special editions.
It is
magical realism.
The real Evie pick is Orlando by the Wolf, but Society's Not Ready. Funny you say that, Mitch. That's been one of my white whale books for a very long time. So, yeah. Anyways,
can you highlight Ian's comment real quick about how fast I finished?
There you go.
Okay, it was so difficult to pretend that I hadn't read all 6 because
I know
these people wanted me to update at 3, and I was like, I'm halfway through a bunch of them, so I was like, I just want to finish, and then they were like, oh, we had to keep pushing back when we could do it. And then I was finally like, look, guys, I finished all 6. Like, this is not an update. This is a result.
He wanted us to show up for the update and just be like, surprise!
I was waiting for that, and it just took too long.
It was wildly quickly.
Ironically, Ian, I worked more last month than I have like all year. I started a new job, so I work 2 jobs now, and I still finished all 6 within a month and read other books.
You have more organizational skills than I will ever have.
I think it's just that I'm up late.
And he talked a lot on Discord. Like,
I always talk a lot on Discord.
How does he do it? He's both talking on Discord all the time and reading all the time and working all the time. And you're married. Like,
yeah.
How do you?
I have 3 rabbits. Those rabbits take up a lot of time. You don't even know.
Bros just got more time than we do.
It's true.
Time Lord. I'm actually Hermione Granger in Prisoner of Azkaban, where I have the time turner and then I come back. Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be used in more than Prisoner of Azkaban anyways, so Kyle took advantage of it. And
yeah,
That's
that was
why
my
they
problem.
don't use it
Is
in the series. Is that Kyle stole it?
I read the book and I was like, this was never used again. I am going to make use of it. So I went and why is the 3 rabbits make you cackle? They like legitimately take up a lot of my time. My wife can't feed the rabbits or clean them up because she's allergic to hay. And you know what rabbits eat is hay.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I didn't know that
she-
your wife was allergic. That's what I meant.
Yeah, so she's allergic to grass, hay, and trees. So just like the world.
Nature.
and so she used to feed them, and then like her arm would get a rash, and I'm like, you should like get this checked out. And then so she got tested, and she's like very allergic, and so I have to feed them, and I also have to clean out like their carrier, like their spots, and you know, so I always have to do that. So that's actually a lot of time, you know. But I listen to audiobooks while I do that. So ABR, always be reading.
Yeah, this man's efficient. You can't argue with that. I gave him a book that although it's funny, the book I gave you that I'm like, I don't think this really works on audio. I'm doing on audio right now on reread.
I did do it on audio, like not all of it, like that would be insane. But I did a portion of it on audio, and also it has the same narrator as The Expanse and The Mercy of God. So last month was just the month of Jefferson Mays.
I like that narrator.
I thought he's good. Yeah,
that's a pretty cool name, honestly. Jefferson Mays.
Mitch said legitimately the funniest thing.
Yeah. Classic. Wonder how much the doctor had to get paid for that one.
You know what, Ian? There actually is an audiobook. It's just an abridged version, which is certifiably insane because the book is 900 pages and the abridged version of that book is like 6 hours. And I'm like, you guys cut out a lot of this. Like, you cut out a bunch of stuff.
Cutting 6 hours is the abridged version. Cutting 6 hours, that's a summary.
I was gonna say.
It's absolutely insane. It's 5 hours. That's crazier.
That's outrageous.
Well, you know.
Also, the fact that Kyle's angry about this makes it more likely that he likes the book.
I'm just angry about the way the society decided to make a book. I would be angry about that if it was Ready Player One, because that's stupid.
Fair. All right. So the real question is, are we gonna go start Ben's live stream early, or are we gonna pause for?
I mean, we can have snacks first.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can go figure that out.
That's not enough time to make dinner, and it's too much time to have snacks.
I have a Snickers bar because I thought I might have 5 minutes, so I was like, I'll quickly eat a Snickers bar.
I thought you were gonna make I thought I was in case you got angry, have a Snickers because
I could
partials, whatever. Anyways, thank you for the picks.
Thanks for having us on. I'm glad we get to do this. Thank you for letting us
pick.
We'll see how it goes.
Are difficult to pick for, so it's an honor to be able to.
This is more. You've put more trust in me than I put in me, so thank you.
Yes, that's actually a great way of saying it.
Or again, maybe this is just a masochist sadist situation, and this is all some big ploy. Whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Y'all go to Kyle's channel at 8:15, whenever that is scheduled, because I can't remember, to see what he felt, whatever. The books that he read for Ben and Jake. There you go. That's the words I'm looking for. So yeah, thank you again. I don't know how to sign off on these things, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Bye guys.
Bye everybody.